Well, I've now almost got this generator back together. It's only 2:30 in the morning. I've lost one of these. They go through the wiring panel, and literally is used to connect positive wires to positive. That one is, and the other's negative to negative. But obviously, you just open that and you literally have 240 volts coming out of there. What you'd want that for, I don't know, because presumably you could accidentally put a pin or a flipping nail or anything in there and it would kill you. It's ridiculous. I've lost one and they're not going back in because you could get water in them, and yeah, I'm not putting them back in. They're virtually a wiring connector to connect those to those and those to, where is it? Another one somewhere. So that, well, obviously if I cut those connectors off and put some housing connectors on, that should do, because obviously possibly the idea is to stop it shorting against that plate, but it's not a very good idea. But yeah, I mean, those are you'd expect those in the UK to be 240 to 250 volts and 13 amps, so why it won't power the angle grinder, I don't know, because obviously there's an overload light on there that never showed. It showed the green AC light, but the angle grinder just wouldn't even start. It did about what, a couple of degrees and stopped every time. I tried it in an converter and did the same, plugged it into the mains later on and it worked. So I don't know. I mean, if that doesn't do it, it could be that I've damaged it when I rolled it when I came off my bike and it rolled over the top of me and bounced out the trailer, and it only didn't bounce down the road, it just turned upside down, and it smoked a bit when I started it, but yeah, because there's oil in the cylinders. But the inverter goes to a battery and turns 12 volt current in 12 volt supply into 240 AC, but that shows an overload light with the angle grinder, but I've never used that with an electric drill. It probably won't overload it. It must be that the angle grinder spins so fast it just decides it's stopping, because it puts an overload light on the inverter. But there's an inverter in there somewhere to get the voltage and current rate. But obviously the overload light didn't show. But well, what's it for then? It must be to show, I don't know, overloaded current. Well, that's 3.5 kilowatts. There's no way you put 3.5 kilowatts through both of those. So I don't know. The only other alternative I can think of, if I want to put something that overloads one of those, is to put two plugs into one cable and use them both. That's the only thing I can think of. But I've never had anything that actually did it apart from the angle grinder, and it's not designed for angle grinders. It's designed for camping. Yeah, in angle grinders, say angle grinders and that, you'd usually use 110 volts and a workman's generator, and I haven't got one. They're not that expensive really. That was a lot more than one of those, and it's not really much good to me. But well, I think it will power an electric bike, because I was only taking 144 watts out of one of those with a strip light transformer, so multiple strip lights. But it won't do an electric bike. A 48 volt electric bike will take up to 60 volts. It does to get full speed, because the speed depends on the voltage. Now, when you're putting 12 through, so it's very slow. I can't remember if it was 144. It was 144 watts. It'd be 12 times 12, wouldn't it? No, would it? 12 volts to get 140. It must be 12 amps. It was going through, so it must be the voltage. It must be. Yeah, because they take 60 volts and 11.5 amps. It must be the voltage that was wrong. But surely those are 13 amps, so one should easily power a 250 watt motor. Yeah, because that's only 1 amp, isn't it? 250 volts, 2 amps, to watts. If you multiply 240 by 1, you've got 240 watts. So if it's 12 volts to get to 250, it's going to be, I say 240, 2 watts in it, 2 amps in it, isn't it? 12 volts times 2, no, that's 20 in it. It doesn't make sense actually. 60 volts. No, 60 volts, 250 watts. Yeah, 4 amps, just about. So those should easily power one. One of those should do it. But if it doesn't, I'll have to make a cable, like a splitter cable, that instead of splitting, put some both into one. But one of those should do it anyway. I would think. I've got some 60 volt transformers. They're for LEDs, and that's what I was saying about LEDs. It takes 60 volts to power a bright LED. The traditional incandescent bulbs, they go up to what, about 250 watts, don't they? But yeah, standard 60 watt bulb at 240 volts, the old incandescent ones, they don't put out anywhere near as much power as the low energy bulbs. And I don't know how they work with the LEDs, but LEDs must take an awful lot of power if they're 60 volts. They're a lot brighter, but they can't be very efficient.